Hello, Happy New Year. How is it that you look so cool, Alex? I feel like a big letdown now.
Hey guys,
I
it's
feel
me.
like I feel like we're on like in a cool 80s movie. Like
I
Alex is
got
about
these
to go
cool
past
glasses
us.
for Christmas. I wanted to surprise you, Amy. Do you like them?
I feel let down. I've let everybody down. I just am not making as much effort as you are. They are beautiful. Are they new sunglasses or are they like fancy color changing? I'm
They are.
outside.
They're just sunglasses. Look, and you can probably see you.
I can. That's very
There you
exciting. You look like
are.
you should be on the cover of an 80s movie. That's what I was thinking. Like
Oh, thank you, Amy.
with a fleeing victim reflected in the lenses or something.
Yes, most definitely.
So,
Happy New
what did you
Year.
do on New Year's Eve? It can't be as exciting as what I did.
Okay, well, we will see then. What did I do on New Year's Eve? I sat right here and I ate my weight in cheese.
Ooh.
Whoop.
I rented Salem's Lot on Amazon Prime, the 2024 version of it, and watched it with Shelley. So she wasn't with me because we were meant to be seeing each other in person, but they got a poorly pet. So we were StreamYarding while we watched Salem's Lot with each other. That's what I
Oh
did
my
on New Year's.
God. I mean, that is more exciting than mine. How lovely, though. What a good way to ring in the new year.
Yeah, that's
Lovely.
kind of what I think my energy going into this year is doing more of exactly what I want to do and having a bit more balance. Because last year, I don't know about you, but I worked way too hard. I worked in evenings and I didn't ever really stop. And generally, I get to 9 o'clock and I'm like, actually, am I doing anything that makes sense now that is going to help anybody in the future? So I'm going to just try not to do that this year unless I'm on a mega deadline that absolutely cannot wait. Like right now, I'm not, I'm waiting for something to come back to me basically. So I'm not on a deadline. So there is no need to work until bedtime. Like, and
No, no, no.
that's my mindset. I need to stop doing that.
The thing is, it catches up with you is the problem. I do think that you end up with kind of like a deficit of downtime, and this is as somebody who will routinely write into the night and then Tress has to close the laptop on my hands.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm a massive hypocrite, but I do think that it's very important. So good for you, and I think I'll join you. I'll join you with that. I'm all about the pleasure of life. I can't be
Yeah.
bothered with things that cause me stress. So I'd rather
Yeah.
just, have a lovely, gentle little time wherever I can.
Yeah, honestly, it's the little things, isn't it? Like I was talking to somebody about somebody asked me the other day what my writing routines were, and I was like, I just really like making a cup of like a really nice cup of tea, like fancy tea of some kind, like
Oh my God.
matcha or something.
Yes.
I stand there while it's brewing and I just take my time, I take it over and I just start at a really leisurely pace, like read what I've written, and then I just go and I feel really zen and like it's the little things, isn't it? I could rush and flap around and just get straight on with work, no cup of tea in hand, but if I just am a bit more mindful and slow down, it becomes an experience and it's
That,
lovely.
that's it. And I think that, giving yourself enough room to do that as well. Like for me with this latest edit for Ministry of Mischief 2, The Takeover, we've got a title, it's called The Takeover.
Yay, that's cool.
Um, so exciting. I had 2 months to to get the edit done. And so I decided rather than bombing through it in a fortnight, which is what I used to do with vampires, um, I thought to myself, I'm actually going to do a bit of it every day. And that was a lot like you. Grab my cup of tea, you know, sit myself down, and do a little bit every day. And thus, with giving myself the longer time frame, it was a much nicer editing experience this time. So I think that that's something that I'm going to try and replicate in 2025. Um, that's the plan anyway. We'll see.
I've started just being slightly more assertive as well, and I'm really lucky that I've had really like gentle, laid back publishers thus far. The anthology wasn't particularly laid back because they bought it October 31st they put their offer in, I think, or it might have been early November, and then it came out the following September, so there was no breathing room. But like Ink Road, I think their first offer was like February this year, and it doesn't come out until October next year, so it feels like we've had loads of time, and they just keep saying nice things like, how long do you think you need for this? And my instinct was to say 2 days, and Kev was like, stop. think. Do you need to say 2 days or could you say 2 months? And I'm like, oh, months. Trying that word out in my mouth, like months. Yes, I could. And I keep really nervously, like, because they keep asking me how long I want for stuff. And I keep saying, like, genuinely work it out and say how much I want. And they're like, oh, that's perfect. That's what we were thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have just said 2 days and like actually run myself into the ground.
Or
Now
have
I'm
that
thinking about it.
have
Yeah.
that breathing room, have that work-life balance, spend time with Kevin, Nathan, spend time watching Salem's Lot with your friends, you know,
Yeah.
and just have a better time overall. And
Yeah.
I bet you it'll help you to feel a lot more positive about your project as well.
It will. And you know what? I'd love to monitor it at some point and see, like, if Deadline Me, who crams it in 2 weeks, actually gets any more done than relaxed, deliberately calm. I don't think the deadline stress, I tend to get into flaps. When I'm on deadline stress, I start doing things like quickly rewrite a paragraph and then realize it's upskilled about 5 different paragraphs. I'm like, oh God, where are those paragraphs? Find them. And I feel like I make messes when I do that because it's just like
Yes,
I'm putting
yes,
out fires like from this close rather than stepping back and going, hang on, wait.
I
And
understand
it's
that
so much better.
completely. It's a very different writing experience. But then I don't want to be too laid back either. So it's just sort of like trying to strike a balance, which is so hard. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, because I work from home when I'm not in schools, I'm writing here at home. I mimic Triss's work schedule.
Mm.
So when he's working, I'm working. But then if like so say tonight we're sprinting, I'm going to be working on some pitches for some new things for Simon and Schuster, which is very exciting. And obviously this is like after hours, like Tress is over there chilling. He's playing some games with friends online. But I think that's okay. It's not a hard and fast rule for every day. It's just what works for you,
Yeah.
and only you can know what works for you, Amy. So
Yeah, my general rule is Nathan in the morning is like half asleep. So that's when, like, for example, I'm buddy reading Josh Winning's new book. Not buddy reading, like beta reading. That's the word I wanted. So that is kind of work, but it's also amazing because Josh is a great author. So when Nathan's half asleep and playing his iPad or watching TV, I'm like, I'm actually just going to read on my Kindle for a bit and like not feeling guilty that I'm not giving him parent time because he doesn't want me. He's happy watching Bluey on TV. So I'm trying to do stuff like that. And also I just try not to work when he's awake. That's my usual rule. So I work when he's at school. I work when he's asleep. And that I feel better that I'm not missing anything. I hate it. Sometimes I'm on my laptop. If I'm really close to the wire, I'm on my laptop and I'm seeing Kevin Nathan, like, we've got this new dart game for Christmas for him, like ball darts instead of actual darts. And they're doing stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't want to be on my laptop. I want to be doing that. So yeah, my general rule is to try not to feel like I'm missing out because I don't like that.
yeah, and that's I mean, your family would miss out on you as well.
Thanks.
Kicking everybody's butt at darts. So that's nice. It's nice that you're
Surprisingly
having a bit more of a
terrible.
balance.
I'm terrible at any sport, which is good for a 4-year-old because it means that he doesn't feel, like if parents race at stuff, he might feel really bad and not want to try it. I'm so bad that it gives him confidence to want to
I
participate.
see.
So it's not intentional, but psychologically, I'm sure there's some good that I'm doing there.
Yes. Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, so there is that. Well, I've started writing a new book, and this book last year I tried to write it about 30 different times, and I'd literally write the first word and an email would ping up and say, "Hi, can you just look at this?" And I'd be like, "Okay." So I kept putting it down. So this is the year I'm actually going to write this blinking book because last year was all about edits. Every time I tried to write it, because Mina edits basically went almost until publication. It was a bit close to the wire, this one. And then I started working on Dracula basically as soon as it sold, like even before I signed my contract, just because the editor was ready and I was ready. So I was editing it most of last year and I just didn't write anything. So I'm looking forward to it. But I also feel like I've forgotten how to write anything new because the Dracula book I worked on during the Mina books, kind of whenever I had downtime, I wrote that. So I haven't written anything probably since 2015 that isn't Dracula or Mina. So I feel a bit like I've forgotten how to write other things. Like
That's so
I've worked on like 5 books in that time, but none of them this one. So I feel a bit weird about this one. Like I feel like an imposter basically starting to write it. Like I'm just fumbling my way through it. I don't really know what it is yet. And it's like, I'll tell you at some point what it is, but it's totally different. But also you'd recognize it as me if you didn't know the signs that it's me writing it, but it's also a bit different. So I think that's what I'm nervous about, that I don't feel like I know how to do this thing yet. So let's see. I'll try.
Just
So
gotta
that's what I'm doing tonight.
stretch the muscles again, you know. Just let yourself ease back into it. You get your cute little cup of tea.
Yeah.
And sit yourself down.
Do you know what? I've got a really cute teacup. I'll show. In fact, I'm gonna have to get it now. Hold, the suspense.
Go on.
Is
I'll
gonna
hold
kill
my
you.
horses. You show me.
So you knew there'd be a cup of tea. I did tell you. And this is the cup that I got for Christmas, right? I don't know how well you can see it, but so Jack, the tea is just inside the Jack part of it. It's just clear glass apart from that.
Oh my gosh. That's so cute.
It holds so little tea that it's almost useless. However, for nighttime tea, when I don't want to be drinking absolutely loads of liquids at this time of the evening, at this time of my life.
Same.
So yeah, so it works. I like a bucket of tea in the morning. My first tea is like a bucket, and then the teas just get smaller as the day gets on.
Teenier and teenier until it's like tea for a mouse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. This is pretty much tea for a mouse. I filled in like my normal amount of milk, and it went halfway up Jack's head. So I was like, reduce expectations. So yeah, this is the cup of tea. But yeah, I think you're right. I think I do need to just ease myself into it. I'm trying to do my usual. I'm going to write 1,000 words at least a day, and I don't know what the book is yet, so I don't really know what I'm doing because I'm just fumbling my way through.
Yeah, and I mean, this may help you. This may not. But for me, when I'm writing something new, I always just think, if I can do a bit of it every day, even if I don't care if it's 300 words. I don't care if it's 100 words. It's still moving forward, and I'm still thinking about it, and I'm still developing it. And I realize that when you've got a deadline, that might not always fly. But if you can give yourself that grace, if you're in a period where you can take a little bit more time with it, because there'll be days where you'll crank out 2,000 words, 3,000 words, if you get to a place where you're really, really rocketing through, and that will make up for the days when you don't do as much. And then it's flexible as well around you and your family and your life. So
this is very true.
It doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I'm not under contract for this. This is just me trying to branch out and do something slightly different. But also,
so take your time, Amy. Take your time.
Yeah, this is
who's cracking the whip? No one.
No, just myself. This is the problem. I really want to write 2 books this year because there's about 8 books that I want. All of a sudden, I used to never have book ideas and get a bit worried that I was never going to have an idea again. And in last year, I had like maybe 10 ideas of books that I want to write, which is good. And I've written each one down and like got them stacking up. But there's 2 where I'm like, oh man, I can't stop thinking about these 2. So I need to write these 2 and then think. And one of them is kind of in my usual vein. And then, although there are no vampires in it, the other one, I know. It feels a bit weird. Like I started writing that one before. This was another one I started before other things took over. And I was like, oh my God, there's going to be no biting in this book unless it's like fun biting or something. And I don't even know whether that's appropriate in a YA book. So, no biting probably at all. So, yeah, there is that.
My goodness. No biting at all. I don't know how I feel about that.
Just food, being bitten.
Okay.
Which is a conversation I've had with children that I teach quite regularly, actually. If it's not food, please don't put it in your mouth. Yes, stop eating the pencil and your own sleeve, and And this goes to my own child. This is not just children I've taught to. Yeah, so no biting is generally a good rule to have. Okay, before I ramble any longer, let's go and do a sprint. It's quiet in the comments, so let's just crack on.
Let's go.
So if you see me pulling faces, this is me trying to get into this book. And similarly, I know that writing pictures for me feels a bit like going to the dentist and having one tooth slowly removed at a time. So good luck, Godspeed. You seem happier and more excited about it than I would be. If somebody asked me to write a pitch, I go, so there's this girl who like does some stuff and there are vampires and dead bodies and kissing. That's it. Does that sound okay? And they're like, go away. Go away until you've thought about what you've done. And yeah, I'm really bad at pitching. I'm really bad. It takes me a long time. Like Mia Kuznia, who you have also met and is delightful, is ridiculously good. Like if I said to her, hey, I need a new YA book, she'd go, give me a minute. Okay, it needs to be about this and here's the pitch for it. And she can just think of ideas like that. I cannot think of ideas like that. And I can pitch them even worse than I can think of them. But she's a mate. Like I think her and her agent, the way they've worked in the past is her agent just says like, find me 5 pitches, like go and we'll pick one. So I think because she's got used to doing it, it just feels really natural. Whereas I've only ever really pitched stuff when it's been like, oh hey, this or the foreign rights need it or something, and I'm like, oh man, really? Okay. And it's like after the fact, like I should have probably already done it before that point. And I'm tastily writing a pitch, something I've already written. I've never done the like pitch in advance thing, I don't think. Have I?
Very, very
Maybe.
different, I think. I mean, actually
Yeah.
thinking about it, I mean, I've got two pitches that I'm working on. One is for a project that's half written, and the other is for just something that doesn't exist yet. And I think the way that I'm approaching them both is quite different.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. I'll report back. If you see me start to cry, then you know what's you know what's happened.
Chris comes on over to give Alex a cuddle. We're like, okay, we know how this
Yeah.
process is going. I'm sure you can do this. You've written excellent books. I can attest to that. I've read them.
You.
Therefore, writing a short pitch should not be able to beat you. And if you
It'll
have
be
to write a lot,
fine.
I have to write a long pitch before I can write a short pitch. So also don't be afraid to write a very long pitch and whittle it down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving them like a short synopsis and then a more detailed synopsis, so they have the best of both worlds. So we will
You're a
just see.
pro.
We will see. But good luck, Amy, with everything. Are you working on your new thing?
Yes, I'm going to do that because literally that is all I've got to do at the moment. I got my freelance, the main thing I've been working on this year, submitted on the 31st of December, and
Of
one
course
of
you
my
did.
other and one of my other freelance things is I thought it was on a lull. I've just had a message that it's picking up again, but I'm going to say I'm not doing that till next week now. See, I'm saying no, not saying no. I'm not saying like never. I'm just saying
Not right now.
not right now. In a few days, absolutely. I'm all over that. It's still
Good for
Christmas as
you.
far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's do a sprint. I'm gonna
Let's do
just
it.
check. I just always assume that Kev set this up. He has, of course he has. Right, I will see you in 40 minutes.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, hello. How's it going? I can't hear you, Alex. Have I muted
Hello,
you off?
hello.
Oh, hello. I can hear you now.
Oh, there we go. I'm so sorry. So I've been leaning forward like this because I had to plug in my headset, but then it turns out it had just died. So I'm so sorry about that. I will just leave it on charge when we do our next sprint. So for now, enjoy my big face, Amy. I'm sorry.
Fine. I've got very little face just because I'm tired, so I can feel myself lolling back on the sofa. I'm on the first chapter of my book, and your books are similar to mine in that there's quite a lot of information to impart, isn't there? Like when you're writing something that's a bit supernatural, paranormal. And I'm
Yes.
at that point of, oh my gosh, the info dumps are just like dumping all over the place. Like, by the way, I'm just going to casually tell you, character who doesn't know how this world works, I'm just going to tell you how the world works so that the reader can catch up.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to work, and I'm so bad for the little voice in my head is going, it's rubbish, it's rubbish, it's rubbish. Stop writing, it's rubbish. And I know it isn't my 30th draft like my finished books are, but I don't know. I think it's right at the beginning of the book. I find it hard to shut that voice up because I'm still feeling a bit like, ooh, I don't know if this is any good. I know that objectively this current incarnation is not very good, so I'm just trying to push through that. Do you feel they're not very good feelings, or I feel that my books are good, but only when they're finished?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I feel my books are good at all, really.
Oh, they are, Gosh, come
I mean,
on,
I enjoy them. I
that's one of
enjoy them.
your
I
New
enjoy
Year's
writing them.
resolutions. Oh, good. Well, yes, because you should. They are very good, objectively so.
Oh, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I think I have too much imposter syndrome, but the initial stages are always extremely crunchy for me, really crunchy. So I'm very very lucky to have really kind editors. Everyone who I've encountered has been very very patient with me, which is so lovely. So thank goodness for that. Is all I'll say.
Yeah, it's hard because nobody is editing this apart. It's not one of those where like I'm going to write a bit and somebody else is going to read it. I know that this is going to be something that's going to go on submission more likely than not. Therefore, me and my agent will edit it, but it's not going to be edited for the foreseeable future. So I know I've got to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Like I don't know. I think when you're under contract, it's a bit different, isn't it? Because you kind of get that first draft as good as it can be, and then you're like, you are somebody else's problem now, book child. Whereas I need to make sure it's as good as it can be before anybody else reads it, like even my agent, because I want to really prove that this is my new thing. It's really good. Look, take it out into the world.
I get that you want it to be as shiny and lovely as it possibly can be, and I always feel like kind of embarrassed when things aren't perfect on the first go, which is really really difficult, and that's just that's something that you have to let go of, but it is so
Yeah,
painful, isn't it? It
it's
really
strange,
is.
isn't it? I know that we go into this knowing that our books will be read and published, and that is the actual aim for people to read them.
I
But the
know,
people reading them part is really
it's
difficult
mortifying.
initially. By the time the book comes out, I'm normally okay. But I'm getting there because, like with They Own the Night, my agent's read it. 2 editors now at Ink Road have read it, and Kev, who tells me straight if something doesn't make sense and is a hot mess, he will tell me, which he has on various occasions. And then I've had 2 different. I don't like to say sensitivity reads. I don't think that's quite the right word, but whatever you call that thing now. I've had 2 of those. Therefore, I'm starting to feel a bit better now. Like 7 or 8 humans have read it and thought that it's good. Therefore, I can start to
Oh,
think it's
I mean
good.
that's the validation though, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm glad that
I
that
know
can sort of bolster you and give you confidence.
yeah, we shouldn't need it, but it's just hard to know, isn't it? Because the words are coming from your own brain. It's really hard to know whether they're good or beautiful words or whether they're not. And yeah, I think normally I'm a bit more confident, but this because it's a bit different, I think I just feel a bit vulnerable. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. At the moment, I wrote like a page and a half then, double spaced, but I'm still taking it as a win. I don't know how many words that is. And I did at one point go, I've already written this paragraph before, so I had to go and find the paragraph. I've only written a few pages of this book, so I had to go and I just cut it out and moved it because I was describing something described something too early, basically. So I took a whole paragraph and moved it. So that took me a while to figure out where I'd already said the words I was writing. And I do that all the time in first drafts. People have the same conversation twice and stuff like that. Like, my memory, I think, is so poor.
I get that. I mean, it's just shuffling things around, isn't it? And that's just all it's all part of the process.
Yeah, and I
Lean into the
think
chaos.
yeah, I do like first drafting, but I hate the first like 5 to 10,000 words. I just think are absolute garbage because I'm just figuring out. I still don't know quite what genre this is either, which doesn't help because I don't ever know how to write one genre, Alex. I mean, I know you feel me on this, but like, what genre do you write? And don't say middle grade because that's a cop-out answer.
I write weird fiction. Would be what I would say.
Maybe I'll lean into that because
is that a cop-out? Maybe.
Well, we had an issue with Mina early on that we didn't know whether to call it horror or mystery, and originally it was sort of being called horror, and then a few people went, "This is not horror," and I was like, "Well, it's got horror bits in it, but the overarching thing I think is a mystery in the Mina books." So we did go mystery based on a few early NetGalley reviewers actually did help me out because I do think it is more of a mystery. But this new thing I think might be paranormal romance with a side of mystery as opposed to mystery with a side of romance is what I normally do. And of course there will be horror because people are going to die and die horribly, obviously. I don't think I can write a book where people... I don't think I can do it, Alex. How do you write middle grade books, in all honesty, where nobody kisses? I mean, sometimes people die horribly in yours. So the die horribly bit you can do in middle grade, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, it tends to happen off screen.
Yeah.
But certainly it does. I'm just trying to think. Is there a kiss? Is there a kiss in my latest draft for Ministry of Mischief?
Oh, hello. Kisses. Oh, I saw a little cute.
There isn't a smooch, but there is a suggestion that someone may have held hands.
Oh, see, in middle grade,
smooch of middle grade.
That is in middle grade though. That's just so cute and wholesome, isn't it? Like I really love that when you have little moments like that in middle grade. See, that's nice. I could enjoy that. It's just I'd worry about the not murder on the page thing. Would be a bit upsetting for me. Maybe I don't know. I'd love to write a middle grade, and I've got some ideas for chapter books as well. And one picture book, there'll be definitely no murder on the page in that one. I can probably safely say. I'll have to tell you about it at some point. I quite like it. I think it's cute. I was on holiday and I just had this idea of like a picture book that I thought Nathan would like. And then I was like, oh, maybe other children would like it as well. Maybe I should write it for Nathan. And then if it works, try it a bit wider.
You should. I mean, listen, you know me, I have loved sort of dabbling with picture book texts, and even though it's been so difficult, I have had a really good time. It's been good fun, and I'm hoping that my agent likes what I've done as well. So hopefully that'll be sort of my next project together with Christabel. So that will be so lovely. So I say go for it, Amy. If you ever want to send me anything, by the way,
thank you.
I would be very happy to kind of have a look and bounce ideas back and forth and stuff, and that would be so lovely. And I trust you as well with my brilliant ideas, clearly, that are going to make a lot of money.
I loved, not telling details because this is live, but I loved the story, the picture book idea that you told me about. If it's that one, I thought that was really cute.
That is the one that I'm thinking of, and I really hope that that my agent Christabel will like it as well, because I can't stop thinking about it.
That's a really good sign.
That is a sign. And I mean, I've done loads. I've attempted. I'm just like throwing stuff at the wall, but this one in particular is like, I feel like it needs to happen. So we'll see. If Simon's sister are watching this, please send me an email, because I want to send you this book.
Oh, I think you'd be really good at picture books. And I don't think what you were describing sounds like it's been done. My problem, I think I told you, didn't I? What I thought was my genius picture book idea was published, and I was like, and it was just exactly the same as my idea. Like, not even, and I never told anybody about it, so it's not like it can even be somebody caught wind of my idea. It is just genuinely one of those annoying things.
It happens. I am terrified that it will happen to me.
I mean,
I need to hurry it out there. I need
honestly, it it like when the Mina books were first announced. I've forgotten the name. How embarrassing! I'm so tired. The author of what is the New Orleans book that was announced? Oh, Rene Ardier's New Orleans books were announced, and I was so worried. It was like Rene Ardier is going to bring vampires back via New Orleans. So I was like, oh God, that's what I was trying to do. However, they ended up being totally different, and the same. Lucy Undying has just come out, which is a Dracula retelling, and I was like, oh, I might as well just go home then with my Dracula retelling. But it's based on Lucy Westenra, and it's very much like it's historical and modern, and it's just completely different. It's completely different from mine, and it's adult as well. So I always get really nervous when these things have happened to me every time, like something that seems really close, and then I'm like, I'm sure the fact that one Dracula retelling exists or more, doesn't mean nobody's ever going to read one again, does it? So.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I think it's quite nice as well. When your book kind of goes naturally hand in hand with someone else's, so that you can be like, well, if you liked this, then you will definitely like mine because it's sort of loosely within the same realm.
Yeah, I know. I remember Laura Wood. I saw her at an event talking about her Poppy Pym books. I think she had a similar experience with Robin Stevens' books were announced at a similar time, and she was like, "Oh gosh, my little girl detective versus these little girl detectives." However, I think they then ended up being put on displays together, and lots of reviewers comparing them. So I think ultimately, it generally means you've got the right idea as well. That you're writing something that other people are also thinking is going to do well.
I mean,
So.
you've both tapped into something there, haven't you? You've both kind of picked up that it's time for another resurgence of Dracula to come back,
Well,
the most iconic vampire story of all time.
I was really surprised because I started thinking about this before the first Mina book came out, and I was really surprised when I started doing research that there haven't been that many Dracula retellings, and certainly not YA ones.
Mm-hmm.
There was one a few years ago called Thrall, where Dracula was an app, which I thought was quite clever, and I've still not actually read it. But I was satisfied that Dracula being an app was probably going to be different enough from my idea, being the mindset in the 80s apps didn't exist. And that was the only one at that time. I'm sure there've been more since, but there was that one, and then there was one that was written all in text speak called, oh gosh, I can't remember what that one was called. But again, I didn't read it just because I thought, well, that sounds different enough, and I didn't want to read it just in case I accidentally used some of it. So I'm not the first person to do it, but yeah, I think that's the same with every book, isn't it? Like that. What's that thing? Is it 7 basic stories? That there are 7 stories that we all tell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
it's impossible to be completely original, isn't it? And I think with vampire lore as well, it's so varied. If you tried to include everything, you'd just contradict yourself constantly, wouldn't you? I remember so when vampires first came out, I consider Rules for Vampires' sister book to be His Royal Hopeless by Chloe, because we were in like a book box subscription together. So quite often when I was talking to people about vampires, I would be like, look, if you enjoy this one, then you will also enjoy His Royal Hopeless, and Gatlin, aka Chloe Perrin, they are so wicked and just so lovely and such a cool person, so it's nice to have these little accidental connections to other authors as well. I think, as somebody who works on her own, it's nice to sort of be forced to be friends with people.
Yeah, I found little mini communities, like the Fictional Hangover podcast. I was just talking about my book once, and they atted me and said, "Do you want to come on?" And I never heard this podcast at that point, and I was like, "What would this entail?" And it transpired that all of my author friends who are writing the similar kind of stuff to me have all been interviewed by this podcast, and we quite often go on together now and do Halloween specials and stuff, and it's really lovely. It's just an opportunity to catch up with my mates.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is so nice. See, that warms my cold heart as well. I'm worried about me. What's happening to me?
It's a weird thing, and you're not as old as me, Alex, so I can say as we get older, and me myself as much as anything. I think as I got older, I've got more chill about some things, but also more grumpy and less willing to put up with certain things. I'm
I feel I'm getting there. I
As a
do.
20-something, I would have been like, yes, miss, yes, sir, to absolutely everything I was asked to do. And now I'm a bit more like, actually, no, I don't like that behavior, or I don't like that thing. And sometimes I don't say it out loud, but I don't allow those things to, I don't entertain the things that I'm not interested in as much as I used to. Like, I used to get
Yes.
invited to, like, I don't know, a gambling night or something and go. Like, what was I thinking? Whereas now, like, if I got invited to, I don't know, like, what was one I got invited to years ago? And it was like, it was some like weird, you know, everybody go and gamble and drink, and that's just not all me. And I went, and I did just sit there thinking, they told me it was gambling and drinking, and I've come here anyway. This is my own fault. And so now I just try and, like, stuff that isn't going to bring me joy, I just don't entertain
Yeah,
anymore.
and I think that's okay, and that doesn't have to hurt anyone else either. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
this is like a wider like life lesson that you're getting into here, isn't it? I mean, I could say all sorts of things right now that would get me into terrible trouble on the internet. I'm sure on stream here talking about, you know, people in my life that I've decided to no longer put up with because of, you know, because of conflict of interests and views and bad behavior and things like this. I'm with you. I mean, the older I get, you know, the more I just kind of feel like, meh. Life's too short, you know, to be worrying about things all the time. And you know, for me, like I know, for example, if I was in that position, like going somewhere where, you know, people were gambling away their life savings and whatnot, I know that would I may go bald with stress.
Yeah, see,
So
this is the thing, right? And I feel like if a friend's invited me to do something and I don't want to do it, I now just say I don't want to do it. And if they're a good enough friend, they'll understand.
of course they
Like,
will.
and the thing is, like, you and I know that, like, I consider us really good friends, even though we haven't met in real life. Um, but I know that there's some stuff that we feel completely opposite about. However, we can still be really good friends and have really good discussions about them. And I think that's the sign of a true friend at this point, isn't it? That I can say stuff openly to you that I know you don't personally vibe with, but I also know you're not going to judge me about it.
No, of
And
course.
that's,
And well, that's just, you know, that's the spice of life, isn't it? Can you
yeah,
imagine if we were all the same? It'd be
exactly.
rubbish, wouldn't it?
I mean,
It'd
we
be
are both
really, really
writing weird
rubbish.
vampire books, but you
That is
know,
true. That is true. So I think this is what hinges us all together here. I think
yeah,
this love of reading and writing, I think keeps us all going here. But I've met
yeah.
so many cool people through doing these streams. You know, just so many lovely people. And I'd never have encountered this because I'm not a YA author. So I always
How it
feel a little
happened,
bit like
like,
a big fat cuckoo in the nest of
no,
like this
you're
little
not.
community that you've got, you know, right in middle grade. But
Thing is,
I am
it's not
very
my
grateful.
community. It's anybody who is my friend and wants to come and talk to me about books and keep me accountable when I'm working. It's, you know, I don't even remember how we end. No, I know we ended up chatting over the years, but I don't really know how you ended up coming on the sprint. But I'm really glad you did, because you definitely become like a staple of them.
Ah,
Um,
thank you. I
but,
enjoy I
but I
enjoy
can't remember
being
how it
here with you
happened.
all. I don't know. I don't know. You probably slid into my DMs all suave like.
Do you know what? Every time an author that I admire follows me, I get really excited and have to, like, find my chill, and generally have to say, like, Kev, sit on my hands, tell me not to message them straight away. And I think that happened
Ah,
with us, and it happened with Kendara Blake as well. And I think I did do the bad thing with Kendara Blake and immediately message her and be like, I really love your books. Can I please interview on my YouTube? I'm going to run away now. And luckily, she was really gracious and like, yes, you can. And thank you. And actually, maybe I should read your books too. And I nearly hyperventilated. And then she did read them. And then she did like them. So it
and then
shows
you did
that,
hyperventilate.
yeah, I did. Honestly, like, I was talking to her about it in person on one of these. And I actually just was like, I read Anna Dressed in Blood when it came out, like, how many, over 10 years ago now, and remember, like, thinking this author is the coolest person ever. Like, I've just peaked reading this book. And then fast forward 10 years and I'm sort of tentatively, I mean, I feel like I'm friends with her. I hope that she feels the same way. But it's like the power of the internet, isn't it? And reaching out to make connections and being bold. Like, I've done so many, like, silly, like, Jonathan Stroud is the one that I reached out to recently. He followed me on something and we did an event together. Um, And he, bless him, then followed me on all my platforms. So I tried to be cool and then was like, can I interview you on my YouTube? And he said, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I've got to be able to talk to him and like carry on a conversation.
That's
and
so
he's
lovely, though. But you know, Amy, that we're all lucky to be here, and we're all lucky to be given a platform. And for me, as a small author, this is mega being here now with everyone, you know. And I'd never have, you know, met all of the lovely people who swing by and chat. You know, I'd never have had that opportunity. So I feel very, very lucky. I really do. I know, and that's my great big Grinch heart now. That's like 3 sizes too big now. After all of this lovely.
You say this, Alex, about your.
I'm gonna have to go and kick a small child to get back to normal. Aren't
Do you want to borrow one? I've got one upstairs.
I'll come over and get him.
Like, you're gonna meet him and be so cute and delightful, and I'm gonna be like, Alex, you know this cold dead heart of yours that you talk about all the time. I don't believe it's there.
I'm so excited for him to.
You're gonna get on like a
serial killers, or for him to tell me about Jason and Freddy and all of them.
Do you know what? It's so wholesome though that he just has no idea. Like, he got a little ghost face randomly in one of his toys, and I was like, how appropriate for a child. He went, oh look, mummy, it's that ghosty that you like. And I was like, yes, it is that ghosty I like. I think I'll have that, thank you. It was in one of those big slime egg things. Have you seen them on TV where kids smash them?
I have.
And little slime things come out. They're absolutely hideous. Please buy one for any child you know, because the parent will be like, oh, Alex, thanks so much for sending me this like pit of despair filled of slime and like sand that goes everywhere when you open it. The kids love them. Parents hate them. And yeah, there was a ghost face in one of them, which I found really bizarre. But it's just so cute how he has no idea what they are. Like, I was admiring some Wednesday stuff today, and Nathan just stands there like, oh, it's more mummy spooky stuff, you know.
Oh, it's just normal. It's just, you know, every day.
I do wonder. I think he probably just thinks that all mummies are strange. Like, all mummies wear a Jack Skellington. Like, I was talking to him about the phase of the moon on this Jack Skellington jumper, and I do wonder if he goes to school and is like, my mummy likes Jack Skellington, and she's got a jumper that's got the phase of the moon on it. And I bet his reception teacher is like, what is he talking about? Like, where did this child come from? Came from me, everybody. This is like, meet me and you will understand where he came from. Hello. Just going to do some comments now. Thank you. That is so nice of you.
Hello.
Thank you. Thank you kindly. Just in time for a new book coming out
this year. So exciting. I've got my collection. It's in the shelves behind me.
Thanks, Alex. I have yours as well. Not in this room because it's my living room. That'd be weird. But I do have them, everybody, I swear. I've just read and reviewed, actually, Ministry of Mischief, because I'm so behind with my review videos. I did my November wrap-up that I just filmed, like, yesterday, and your book was in it. So,
oh, my goodness me. I am so excited. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for reading it. I do really appreciate it. I am really proud of Ministry of Mischief, so I'm glad that you've read it.
It's very joyful. It's very funny. Like, the teacher just absolutely, is she a teacher? Would you describe it like the instructor of the imps? Just had me in absolute yes. Just because she's just, what's she called? Remind me.
Misfortune.
Oh, I wanted to say Miss Forceps, and I was like, that's not right.
Miss Forceps. That's her sister.
Yes. I mean, obviously. But yeah, she's just so withering, and so like she looks at them and they just like turn into a puddle of jelly. And, like, I aspire to be like
she
that.
She is very Lady Sieglinde coded from vampires, definitely. I don't know. I think I just have a thing about like horrible women. You know, I just want to write horrible women.
They're a little bit more Tisha Adams, all of them, aren't they? Like, you know,
they're all very like, very, very like. You know what I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look right when I try to glare because I'm very goofy, but I'm more of a maggot.
I prefer goofy. Sorry, I got halfway through reading this and I was like, just got off on a misfortune vibe. Yes, honestly, it's really important, because I don't think you're serving anybody in the relationship, are you? Like, if it's not working from your side, it's also not working from their side, and it's really difficult. But as you get older, you kind of have to reflect on that and like, am I just being a doormat, or am I just getting dragged along to do stuff that really isn't me? And generally, I've not had that many friends that's happened with. I think when I was a teenager, there was one friendship that I had that just didn't exactly implode so much as just kind of drifted apart. And at the time, I was a bit like, oh, that's really sad. But actually, looking back, we were totally not compatible as friends at all. And it was inevitable. And it's really good that it did happen, because I think that we've both gone in completely different directions. And like, no one direction is better than the other. But it's just, yeah, I think some friends, you kind of become a friend for one reason, don't you? And if that reason ends, like,
yes, and
my phone's dingling at me somewhere.
It's hard when perhaps your reason for being friends isn't the exact same as someone else's.
Yeah.
And I mean, as someone who puts a lot of stock, like I think about my friendships, and specifically certain female friendships that I've got. Like for me, they are like a big part of my life. And probably up there as one of the most important parts of my life. And I think that quite a hard lesson that I had in 2024 is that just because somebody is up there for me doesn't necessarily mean that they feel the same way. Like they may have other things that take up so much space that I sometimes don't come on their radar, if that makes sense.
It totally does.
Because people have different levels of business in their lives. For me, I need to have space in my life in order to cope with different things. And, as we've said before, Amy, I think like, not having children, I think not like overloading myself in terms of work and things like that. I think this is all like part of it. But yeah, 2024 was a little bit rough for me, I have to say. A few lessons were delivered. Whether or not they've been taken on board, I don't know yet. We'll see for 2025. But yeah,
it is hard.
I had an instance where I was let down, shall we say.
That's really hard, isn't it? And then, like you said, if it comes along with a wake-up call, that kind of makes it even worse. If it's not just a one-off incident, but it kind of makes you think, actually, this is like the reality of the situation.
And it gives you perspective on things that have happened before, though, and you kind of think, well, actually, I think maybe I'm just a bit of an intense friend. I think like I want to be chatting every day. I want to be like, hey, what do you think about this? And someone else is like, Alex, I've got a family and a life. I need to be, I need to be working, and and you're trying to talk a load of rubbish to me. Just leave me alone for a bit. So I think that's
I think it's nice to have a friend like that. Me and Mia do that, who you've met recently, and I still haven't met you. Still sore about that.
I'm sorry,
two of my dear friends.
I can tell that it's a thorn in your side as well.
Honestly, when she sent me that picture, I was like, I want to be there. I feel really pushed out.
I'm so sorry. I'm laughing, but I am sorry, Amy.
I feel like I should have come and been in the audience for that one, but it's fine.
It was just like a shopping event. We were eating mince pies.
You're not making any better, Alex. Don't talk to me about your mince pies.
Mia, she did this thing where like she tried to take like a covert bite of a mince pie, but like she sort of like she went before she took a bite. She like probably like.
Mia's not a covert person. If she ever tries to do anything secretive, it's not going to be secretive. Like Mia's like me. We're very extra. No, I genuinely, I'm only pretending. I'm very pleased that you two met each other and hit off, because, like she's one of my pals that I talk to, nearly every day. So it's nice that you and her have met. I'm not.
It will happen though, Amy. I think Great North North Tour is our moment.
Yeah, I mean, is that this year? I feel like it was ages away, and now it's this year.
Yeah, it's only this year. I think it'll be in the summer. But I'm very excited because I need to scoop up Han. Can't wait. Can't wait. I'm gonna fly down like a bat and scoop her up and fly her away to my nest.
Like a shiny object.
I'm very excited. Hannah's a very shiny object. She is. I'm very much looking forward to it. I love Drake the Bookshop. It's ultimate fave.
I just wish it was a bit closer to me. It's like, how far is it from us, Drake the Bookshop? It's like over 2 hours. Yeah, it's a long way from me. It's probably is it that long? It's probably.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. Well, so the furthest I've driven up until now is York, and that's sort of it's not like outside of the realm of that sort of area, and that took about 2 hours. So I think it'll be similar.
I don't generally drive to author stuff. I just get on the train, and luckily so far people have just collected me from the station, which is lovely. I've always offered to like, you know, do a taxi or whatever, or walk. I did walk on the other end once. But yeah, I did some stuff with the rabbit hole, and they, bless them, came and picked me up from the station.
How lovely.
It was so helpful because I don't really know that area at all. I can't remember where we were.
It's hard when you don't know, when you're in an unfamiliar city, and I think that maybe this is just something that I've become very desensitized to with doing a lot of school visits and things, but quite often I'll just be like spinning round on the tube like I don't know where I'm going, or like I'll arrive at a strange train station and I'll be like, this wasn't where I meant to get off. But you just get used to it, don't you?
Yeah, and more school visits is another thing I want to do, but I just don't have the headspace for it right now. I just know I don't. Like, I've got now 4 jobs, so I just need to steady on and not.
You remember when I was talking about people having full lives?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with my life as well is that, you know, like on the friendship thing, like nobody is gonna be on the same level as Kevin Nathan. So like I think that's an expectation that my friends have to realize, that like they are always going to come first, and they are generally going to come along. That's the thing. Like I don't choose them over people. I just bring them along. So like I do a writing retreat with my friends, but then I bring Kevin Nathan. Like, I'm really sorry, but if you want me, you do have to accept the small person and enormous person.
You know,
yeah, and generally
I think it's lovely.
Yeah, and generally it goes down great with people. Some people like small human, no thank you, but they don't have to like him, you know. I do, so that's fine.
Yeah,
he's a great hit. I think that's why I keep getting invited to Comic Cons, honestly, because he's a real hit in the green room with the authors. He has met more authors than most people. Like, he met Jonathan Stroud last year and Mallory Blackman. And,
oh my god, I think I would die.
I
share a birthday with Mallory Blackman, just so everyone knows.
You do?
Just so everyone knows. Yes.
That's so cool. I didn't know that. Well, I did. So I had a really nice chat with her, and he had a little chat with her, which is adorable. And I should have taken a picture. I really regret. Every time he meets a cool author, I should give him a little photo op, shouldn't I? Because it's not important to him now, but in like 5 years, the fact that he's met Mallory Blackman will blow his little mind.
I bet it will. I'm
just going to have to sit him down anytime he reads a book. Like when he reads your book for the first time, I'm going to be like, I talk to Alex all the time. She's my friend. And he's going to be like, no, she's not. Oh, God, it's so embarrassing. And then I'll get you up on a WhatsApp call like, hey, this is Alex. So, no. Look,
oh, my God. Hey.
Oh gosh. Okay, let's do another sprint. I'm getting really tired, so I think this might be the last sprint.
I'm fine with that. We've chatted a lot. We've caught up.
We have. It's been really nice, and the comments have been quieter, which in a way is helpful because it means that we can chat. Hooray! So the people who are here, sorry for me and Alex rambling, but I'm sure it's entertaining and informative and all the other things. I think I'm
hear from everyone.
Yeah,
it's really, really lovely that we can all be together and that we can all get some stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I'm done with getting stuff done because my brain has just gone, no more writing now, thank you. I can feel it. So I think I'm going to watch Strongman with Kev because we're on the final and I've managed not to be spoiled who wins it. So if you know, don't tell me. Anybody in the comments, I'm talking to you as well. Alex is like, I don't know or care. I have no
I do not have a clue, but I'm going to have to look it up.
It's on every Christmas, Alex. You need to try it. It's the only sporting event. It's the only sporting event I care anything about. There's loads of episodes of it every year in December. Really strong people pick up really heavy things and do stuff like run with them or repeatedly lift them over and over again. You need to look it up.
I will.
I'm totally addicted to it. We've been to see it live. We watch it every year, and we're at the finals, and it's very exciting. So yeah, I'm going to go and watch that in the last sprint. So I may turn my camera off because I'm going to go and sit on the other end. We've got a really long, thin sofa in our really long, thin lounge, and the other end is the best end for watching TV. So I'm going to go and sit on the end. So I'm really glad that the charts are entertaining because who knows? It's entertaining for us when we're in it, Alex, but I do sometimes wonder what the people at home thinking while they
welcome
watch
to
this.
Goblin Chat, everyone.
Yeah, that's what I should call it. Our weekly Goblin Chat brought to you by Alex and Amy, the original goblins, with Ashlyn. I did invite Ashlyn, but I think Ashlyn's just like up to here with busyness right now. I'm so glad that the randomness is appreciated. This is all you are going to get with me and Alex, so you may as well embrace it and be part of it. And on that note, let's go and do a sprint. We'll catch up at the end, and then we will say goodnight before I start being even more incoherent. So I'll see you all in 40 minutes.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
I was not the least bit ready just then. Oh, sorry, Alex. I think you might still be muted. I think we might have
Oh,
unmuted. I think I might have muted you at the same time as you unmuted yourself.
hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was just saying, Amy. I thought that you'd forgotten.
No, I was sitting there, heard the cat meow, and went, "Oh God!" I
Oh
had looked
God!
that I'd looked 2 minutes ago and thought, "I've got 2 minutes," and then 2 minutes just went.
Oh my God, I
Yeah,
know it really does, doesn't it? The same happened to me. Don't worry.
we've got how much left of Strongman? Like quarter of an hour left, so it's like, oh, it's very close. It's so funny. I'm not the least bit invested in sports. Like I could watch a football match or rugby match with like a really cold, dead heart. Like you describe yourself, Alex, like that. That's how I feel when I watch sport. But when I watch this, like you kind of see they get interviewed all the way along, so you see how much they want it, and like they've trained really hard. And like there's a guy who's just come third in an event that he came last at last year, and he's like,
Ah, very
and he's
good. Good
worked
for
hard
him.
all year, so he didn't want to win it. He just wanted to do well, and he's really proud of himself. Like I feel really proud of him, and it's just like there's something about it and that's the reason I've been to Stoke so often, Alex. They used to do World's Strongest Teams at Stoke.
Yes, I was going to ask if that was part of the
Yep.
reason for your travels to Stoke.
Yeah, that's why I've been to Stoke like multiple times because it's a really good strongman event. I think when Nathan's a bit older, I'm going to take him to one because that is the nice thing with teams as well is that they're like they pair up. So the two of them, like they'll do like an event together, and it's even more camaraderie. And I really like it. I could talk about this for hours. I'll say one more thing.
Where do you watch it, Amy? Can I ask before you tell me?
We watch it on, is it ITV? It's Channel 5. Oh, Channel 5 at the minute. Um, what I like, so they'll be competing, they'll be doing something ridiculous like carrying a massive sack. And if they win, like they'll go back and the person that they're actually competing against, they'll be cheering them on and like say, because they know how hard it is what they're doing. Like they're trying to raise up the competitors. And like, in some sports, like, when you watch football and they're like swearing at each other and almost having fights and stuff sometimes. And like these guys are competing at the highest level in their sport, and they're just they're lifting each other up. Somebody else is saying about ice hockey. You see, like it's amazing when you find a sport you actually get behind. If you watch some ice hockey, Alex.
So I haven't, but I do understand this sentiment, and I don't want you guys to laugh at me. Sorry, I'm waving my
Okay.
scissors around. I've
Yeah.
moved on to my bullet journal, everyone. Very exciting. This is my new bullet journal.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, ta-da! It has a horse on it. I do understand what you guys are saying, and for me, it's League of Legends esports.
I don't know what that is, Alex. Explain.
Okay,
You're talking
so
a different language.
yes, it's a sport. It's like a sport with teams,
Okay.
and essentially it is a bunch of nerdy people who are professional video game sports
I get
people.
that. That's as soon as you said League of what was it? League of
League of Legends. League of Legends.
I guess the word nerdy was going to feature at some point in the
Yeah.
explanation.
Listen,
I'm
it's
with you.
Tristan's fault. It's Tris. I was supportive of his interests, and next thing I know, I've seen this whole thing unfold, and I'm like watching the international one. So I do understand completely what you mean, but I
Yep.
think for me this is maybe like the opposite of what you're saying, because yours sounds like very wholesome and lovely, whereas I think the esports community is maybe not so.
Do they all hate each other and talk trash behind each other's
There's a lot
backs
of
and
trash
like
talk. There is a lot of trash talking. But it was very exciting because at the World's Championships, you guys, an American team made it to the quarterfinals. And ordinarily, they're all like slammed by China and Korea, and they never get a look in. So the fact that they were there was crazy. And I was watching that, and I could feel like my heart beating. And it was very, very good. But I'm excited for this year. But I think that I'm actually going to try this strongman as well, because it sounds like a nice sort of antidotes to all of this.
Yeah, they're on. Kev said they're on catch up, so I'd say watch one and just see what you think. Because Kev used to watch. Kev's always watched it since being younger, and of course, I then inherited the hobby with him. And I would get my cross stitch out and be ready for just this thing to wash over me, and then I found it possessed me with that same spirit. And then the next
Isn't
thing I
it?
know, like you said,
It's so
I'm sitting.
funny how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sitting in a stadium and I'm like eating a terrible burger and like it's so
Yeah.
5 hours or whatever. And we've sat and watched it. Like in Stoke one year, it really rained, and I don't think that it was covered, was it? And we just sat there in the rain, like we love this event, we love this sport. And
Oh
there's
my
certain
God.
years where we've like some of the competitors, we've met them, and because they come and talk to I mean, it's got a bit bigger now. Back in the day we were watching it, it was in smaller auditoriums like arenas and stuff. Now it's just absolutely huge. But the one in Stoke in particular, like you'd get these guys who are like the best in the world, like just coming and chatting to the crowd, and like Kev's got pictures with them. So it feels like we've kind of followed the journey of some of these people and like got to know
Yeah,
them a
well, you
bit. And
have. That is so cool. And I mean, I love anything with a competitive element. This is why I love RuPaul's Drag Race, and which
I've
Tris
never
will
watched
watch as
that either.
well. Oh my God, it's great. If you love like competitive sports, it is a sport, it is, and it's a competition, But I feel like, I mean, it sounds like you guys are very similar, but like if I like something, then Tris will take an interest, and vice versa, which is how this terrible thing has happened with me in League of Legends.
Yeah, occasionally
So
Kev will watch
yes,
something with me and he'll be like, actually, this one, you can keep this. Like Gilmore Girls, they talk too fast for him, and I see him looking at them and he's like, I don't understand what they're saying. Like,
Amy,
this is
I
weird.
watched Gilmore Girls for the first time this autumn,
Did you like it?
beginning
Did you
to
have Kev
end.
feelings about it or
Obsessed,
me feel? Oh, good.
obsessed. But Tris is, so he's not kind of watched it to the depth that I have, but he does this thing where he'll be doing something else, and then suddenly he'll turn around to me and he'll go, Dean isn't right for Rory.
Yeah.
Or
This is Kev. Kev wasn't watching Legacies, which is the Vampire Diaries spin-off. He definitely wasn't watching it. I was watching it during the day and it was my thing. And yeah, I'd occasionally put on an evening and he'd be like, okay, so what have I missed? Like, what are they doing? I'm like, you don't watch this. Don't need
what's
to bring it
happening
in on it.
now? Tell me
And
all
plus,
about it.
I don't know whether you've ever watched Vampire Diaries, but it's so frigging
I
complicated. It's
haven't. I
like,
haven't. I know I should. I was much
I
more of a
mean,
True Blood kind of girl.
I think you should watch Vampire Diaries. Legacies is really good, but it is ridiculous. There's a girl that is a tribrid, so she's a witch and a vampire and a werewolf. We had hybrids in Vampire Diaries, which was confusing enough, but she is a tribrid, and I don't know why. I think I missed that. Or I maybe didn't concentrate enough on Vampire Diaries to understand why she's all three things, but she is, and she's awesome. She can kick absolutely anyone's ass. So they just need to get rid of her sometimes because she's too powerful. It's like Hope can't be here, otherwise this is gonna be too easy.
She's like Worf in Star Trek. They've just got to like ship her off every now and again.
They do that with Captain Marvel, don't they? In the Avengers as well. They're like,
They do. They just
Captain
fly
Marvel's
her off
gone.
into
Yeah,
space. Off
yeah.
she goes.
I'm just gonna go to the other end of the universe until this is all over, guys. Okay, bye.
Bye. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, I will.
Yeah,
I will definitely add these things. Add these
yeah.
things to my list that I
Yes,
need
try
to
the Vampire
enjoy.
Diaries. Try Strongman and report back. And if you
I
like the
will.
Vampire Diaries, I'm sorry because it will take over your life. It is Damon or Stefan, Stefan or Damon. Oh my God, who will she go for? On repeat for 8 seasons of angst.
Is
And
this
yeah,
like an Edward versus Jacob situation?
oh my goodness, it's a morally grey, naughty vampire who'll snap somebody's neck and doesn't care, but then he's so lovely to you that you don't care that he's also a murderer.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm so angsty, I don't want to be a vampire. Oh man, I just feel like such a bad person. It's like those two. So it's two brothers. One's the angsty. It's like
Oh,
it's like Lestat and Louis if they were brothers. I think that's the
right. I
best I
see.
can explain it.
I see.
But but the Louis one, without giving too much away, is also a ripper. So he occasionally goes on a rampage and kills everyone. So that's nice. So yeah, you need to watch it, and you need to tell me whether you're Team Damon or Team Stefan. It's important to know.
Right. I will alert you as
It's
to
like being
my thoughts.
Oh, the kitty's telling us to shut up. It's like being Team Spike or Team Angel, or
Oh, my right. Okay.
it's important as that. It really
Okay.
is.
I mean, can we not have both?
Yeah, I mean that's generally my answer to who's your favorite vampire question. I'm like all of them. Trick question. Um, Generally, there aren't that many vampires where I can say I actually don't like them. Like usually, if there's a vampire in it, I'm happy. Um, I'm trying to think of an example of a vampire that I don't like. I really can't.
Amy, have
Um,
you seen the new Nosferatu yet?
no, I'm very sore about it because my mum and dad are on holiday and they are my babysitters. So I can't see it yet. Sob, cry, have a
I
little
haven't seen it
tantrum.
yet either. I am excited though.
I really, 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 really need to see it as soon as possible. They're back. They're back for one day. They're dog sitting at the moment with my brother, so I can't be too angry at them because they're being very virtuous. They're back for one day and then they go on holiday, so I probably can't see it until like middle of January. So everybody in the world is going to have seen the new vampire film that is based on Dracula before me.
I mean, you're talking to the girl who's only just seen Wicked, so I do
I haven't seen
understand your
Wicked,
point. You
Alex.
haven't seen it? Oh my god!
Honestly, I haven't been to the cinema since when did we go to? I think I've been to cinema twice in 2024. We went to cinema twice, and one of them I really regretted. The other one was Beetlejuice. Did not regret that. Long Legs, regretted. Didn't.
Longlegs. I haven't seen that.
I didn't
There's,
like it. It's it's one of those films I can see some value in it. However, I didn't enjoy the experience of watching it. Um,
oh, I'm
I
so
know.
sorry.
So like one of my few
That's
date
crap.
nights of the year. But yeah, Nosferatu, it's just unfortunate. Usually I can, have a babysitter. I may just go and watch it by myself next week. Possibly during the day when little person's at school. That might be the way that I see Nosferatu.
Yeah. Why not?
So shall I
Just
rock
go
up
and
to like the
enjoy.
1 p.m. showing with nobody else and just be like, hi, my kid's at school. I'm going to watch this by myself with a big tub
Yeah.
of popcorn.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, so that might be the answer. I'll let you know if that happens. And I
Keep me
do have
posted.
friends, by the way, but I just don't have local friends who would go and see Nosferatu with me, probably. Maybe one of them would, but I don't know. I think I maybe just need to go and see it myself. Or I do want to see it with Kev. This is the problem. I want Kev to experience it with me, but it might not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Need to find the time.
oh, I mean, I could set you on a path that you will never come back from. I can give you that. Maybe at some point I need to make a YouTube video about this. This is how you get into vampires. Welcome. Watch Buffy, I would say, is your initial homework. If you're not sure if vampires are for you and you want a good introduction to it, I think that's the thing for me. And then, like Alex said, True Blood, if you can cope with it being really gory and really sexy. Obviously that's what Alex and I require, but it's not for everyone. And then Vampire Diaries is like toned down True Blood, somewhere between Buffy and True Blood, and throw in a load of teen angst. And then you have Twilight if you want your vampires sparkly. Yeah. I do like Twilight, but I have to say now, in hindsight, I don't think it's my favorite of the things. But I did deeply get obsessed with the books and the film so much that I had trading cards, Alex. I had trading cards
Did
of the
you
Twilight.
really?
Yep,
Oh my
yep,
god.
I
Oh
did.
my god, Amy.
And what else did I have that was embarrassing? I feel like I collected. Oh yeah, I had all the jewelry. Like I had various things with the Cullen crest on that weren't even in the book that were just invented for the saps who went to watch the film and needed everything. And yeah, I had various key rings and necklaces and stuff that the Cullens had. I've got Elena's necklace still from the Vampire Diaries. I do wear that. Ah, yes, Lost. Yes, in fact, I can't believe I didn't say that. Lost Boys after Buffy is probably my second favorite vampire thing. I'm not wearing anything Lost Boys. I've let myself down. I had this. I got an amazing Lost Boys. Have you watched Lost Boys, Alex? I feel like you will have
Yes.
done. I got an amazing David jumper, which my mum was really confused when it
Oh,
arrived. It's a jumper dress and it's like nearly
yes.
knee length. And my mum texts me like, "Who is this jumper with a guy with an 80s blonde mullet? Who is this for?" And I was like, "It's a jumper dress for me. Can you not tell?" And it says something on it, like, that one of his lines, like, never grow old, never die, stay up all night, it's fun to be a vampire, yada yada. It says that on it, and I was like, "Mum, can you not tell?" And she said,
Clearly.
"No." And she thought it was Kev's because it was so enormous. I was like, "Can you imagine Kev wearing that? It's got like little slashes on the shoulder and at the side. It's clearly not." Anyway,
My vampire rec is What We Do in the Shadows.
yeah. See, I've watched some of it, and I did really like it, but I haven't watched any more. I think I need to be in
Oh,
a specific silly mood for it, and
it's my ultimate fave. I mean, I love horror comedy, and I think it
yeah.
just scratches that itch. But I mean, I love the film, the original film, the New Zealand film, and then the series is amazing as well. So I'm very excited for this final season that's coming out.
Oh,
I just
it's the
absolutely can't
series.
wait.
It's the series that I'm watching. I've watched a few of them, and I
Yes.
think that might be a me one. I'm not sure. Like with comedy stuff, Kev's a bit like if it's not like Friends or something like that, like he's generally not that bothered. Or American Pie, maybe. Um, okay, I've done my vampire rant of the evening. I think it's time to go and watch the last 15 minutes of Strongman. So thank you, Alex. Thank you,
Thank you ever
people in the
so much. Thank
comments.
you for having me, and I hope that everybody have a lovely Friday and a lovely week ahead.
Yes, and I hope I'll speak to you soon, Alex, preferably in person, but I will accept a stream as well.
Speak soon, Amy. Take care,
Bye.
everybody.